In order to pick up your spares, there are 5 things you got to focus on. The first thing is your mindset. Now, this is something that Brad and Kyle have talked about in their videos, but you need to remember picking up a single pin is basically fitting your ball in a window that's half the lane wide. If you take your ball, pin, and then your ball, and they're right next to each other, it takes up half the lane. Okay, so a single pin is half the lane wide. That's how much room you have. That's a lot of room. When I think about it that way, it seems way less daunting. It looks a lot bigger perspective wise. The second thing you want to focus on is you want to learn to throw the ball straight at your spares, especially if you're going to be bowling college or you're going to be bowling tournaments with sport patterns or challenge patterns. You're going to bowl the open tournament. You got to throw your ball straight at your spares. Why? You take the lane out of play. You don't have to worry about speed, axis rotation, entry angle, side roll, rev rate, or what ball. You just take your ball, throw it straight. In order to throw the ball straight, you either need a spare ball, plastic, that just goes straight, or you need to be at 0 degrees, meaning your hand, comes up the back of the ball 0 degrees and it just goes dead straight. It's trickier to do than just throwing a spare ball, but if you can master it, you can throw spares with any ball. You don't have to throw spares with a spare ball. For two-handers, it's incredibly difficult because no matter what, they have a 600 rev rate when they release the ball. One-handers, they can break the wrist, can break it at release, have 0 revs. It's a lot easier to do. But as a two-hander, you can't really do that because you don't have the thumb in the ball. So, your mindset, you have half the lane. Second, learn to throw the ball straight. Take the lane out of play. Just take it out of play. Focus only on hitting your target. Hitting a target. There we go. To red. Hitting a target. Okay, for my 10 pins, my ball, that's exactly how my 10 pin goes. But you want to draw a line in your head, something that I do as well, from, where you're going to release the ball to, the pin, and visualize that in your mind. The third thing, you want to have comfortability in stand position, target, angle, speed, and release. Now, what do I mean by this? So what this means is you're standing at this location, you're throwing at this target, at this angle, at this speed, and with this release. So typically it's going to be a low rev release designed to just throw it straight. It's going to probably be a little bit quicker simply because of the fact that it's a lower rev. It's not hooking, so it's not going to slow down as much. And typically, at this target, at this angle. And all that comfortability means is just you like standing there, and you like throwing at the 10 pin, throwing at the 7 pin, throwing at the 4 pin, throwing at the 6 pin with picking that up. That's just all that means. Now, that's important because if you're not comfortable, you need to get comfortable. We need to find a spot for you where you say, okay, I feel like I can consistently, if I hit the target, it makes sense that I'm going to pick up the spare. Now, this is for my right-handers. If you're right-handed and you're struggling with your left side spares, what is recommended to me and what my team did in college is we started shooting our left side spares. Anything on this left side. So the ball was always going over 25. So if the 7 pin, we're going to shoot it here. If we're shooting at the 4 pin, we're going to shoot it here. If we're shooting at the 2 pin, we're going to shoot it like this. I mean, that obviously no hook, assuming these are all straight lines. Okay. And the reason for that is this is where all the oil is. All the oil is on this left side. So your ball's going to push. It's going to push through the oil. It's not going to roll out. It's not going to hook. It's just going to go straight. And that's what we want when we're throwing spares, especially on harder conditions. We want the ball to go straight, okay? So all the oil is on this side. So let's just get in the oil and throw straight at it. When I did this, I didn't initially do this when I was in college, but I started doing this recently this year because I was getting back into bowling and I started missing a lot of my left side spares. I did this, it was night and day. I'm telling you, you have to try it. Now, where I stand about it depends on your drift. So for my 7 pin, I stand on 24. That's where I stand. For my 4 pin, I move a little bit further left. I stand on 26. For my 3 pin, I stand on 30. Okay. Now it's a guessing game. You kind of have to work it out for yourself, but do it in practice. I'm telling you, it would change your life for left side spares. It literally will. All right. And then, all right. So recapping, mindset. You have half the lane to pick up your spares. Learn to throw straight. Take the lane and uplay. Be comfortable in a position. If you're right-handed, shoot, throw it over 15 for your left side spares. And find places that are comfortable for all your combinations. For the 6 pin, for the 10 pin, for the 4 pin, for the 7 pin, 8, 9. Find those spots that are comfortable and that feel comfortable for you. Targets that feel comfortable, and then just repeat. The next thing you want to do, the fourth thing, is just practice. Shoot at a lot of spares. When you go to practice, actually work on them. So one game of spares is 20 throws. That's 20 spare shots. Sometimes in league you might not get that many spare shots in a league night. So just go bowl one game, 20 throws. Bowling's expensive now. Bowling has shot up in price. You want to get your money's worth. Okay. 5 games is 100. If you shoot 100 spares a week, you will for 10 weeks, you shoot 1,000 spares, you're going to be so much better. It'll be night and day. You won't believe how good you'll be at spares. But people don't do it. I'm telling you, people don't do that. No one does. The only people who are doing it are in college, and sometimes they do. But no one is doing that. If you do, I guarantee you'll be so much better. Because you're just gonna outwork people. You're just gonna outwork them. And now some guidelines for shooting at full racks for spares. So you want to alternate shooting single pins in a frame. So if you shoot a 10 pin in your first shot, your second shot is going to be the 7 pin. Now, if the 7 pin's not there, because sometimes you might light hit the 6 and it might knock out the 7, still shoot at it because you know if you make it. Okay. And so the guidelines is when you're shooting at a full rack, if you hit the 2 pin when you're shooting at the 7, so if you're shooting at the 7 pin and you hit this pin, it's a miss. And the reason for that is it makes it a little bit trickier. You have to be a little more precise. Also, left side, hold on. Left side spares. There we go. You have to be a little more precise. It's not unreasonable. Like, it would be unreasonable to have to, if you hit this pin, to count it as a miss. That would be unreasonable. Because it's just too difficult. You're going to be aiming too far left every single time. But this makes it a little trickier because sometimes in the real world, you would nick this pin and still make the 7. That's just the dimensions of the ball. But if you make it a little bit trickier, you're going to be so much more precise. And be true to it. Be hard on yourself. And you might have a lower percentage in practice, but it's going to be higher in the real thing because you're literally going to have more room. Same thing with the 10. So if you're shooting at the 10 pin, this is your miss. If you hit this pin, you miss. Or obviously if you miss the 10 pin. Now if the 10 pin's not there because you shot the 7 and the 4 careened, now you don't have the 10 pin, do your best, obviously. But again, if you're trying to hit the 3 pin and you make it a little harder on yourself, if you're trying to hit the 10 and you're trying to miss the 3, it makes it just that little bit harder that it's going to make you more precise. So those are the practicing guidelines. I'd recommend bringing a pen and paper to do this. You also could do this with a Google Sheet on your phone. You could lay it all down. Just keep track of it. Know your percentages. Because then you know, okay, what you have to work on. When I did this, I missed a lot more 7 pins than I did 10 pins. Okay. I got to work on 10 pins or 7 pins still, even after doing what I did, you know? And then the last step, so we're going to recap all the steps. Mindset. Shoot. Mindset. You have half the lane to pick up a single pin. Half the lane. Second, learn to throw straight. Spare ball, 0 axis, 0 degrees, break your wrist, throw it straight. Take the lane out of play. 3, be comfortable. Find spots for every spare, every single pin, and make it make sense for you. If you're a right-hander, left side spares, strongly recommend positioning yourself so that the ball crosses 15 for each one of your left side spares. 15 on the left, so 25. For practice, shoot at a ton of them. Practice religiously. If you practice these over and over and over and over again, you shoot 1,000, you shoot 2,000, you shoot 3,000 spares in practice. No one, especially if you're in college, if you're a youth bowler, even at the amateur level, no one is doing that. No one. You're going to beat them all. You will. And the last step is confidence. When you shoot 3,000 spares, when you shoot 1,000 spares, you will get to a point where you leave something, leave a 10 pin, leave a 7 pin, and it'll be almost automatic for you to pick it up. You won't feel scared. You won't feel afraid. You won't feel anxious. You'll feel very confident. And you'll have overwhelming confidence to pick up the spares. And it's going to happen for you. But that's only if you practice spares a lot. If you practice shooting them, you're gonna gain that confidence. And use that confidence to crush the spares. You have to know without a shadow of doubt you're gonna pick it up. Especially for single pins. You have to have that confidence. However, even though you're going to have that confidence, you have to remain focused. Again, you're throwing the ball straight, it's hitting a target, and you have a little bit of room. It's hitting a target. That's all it is. Hit your target, you pick it up. It's your only focus, not your rev rate, your axis tilt, your side roll, what ball you're throwing, getting it to the break point. You're hitting a target. Now, whether it hooked early on the last shot, you just got to hit a target. I'm telling you, if you do it over and over and over again, you are going to beat so many people. It takes work. It takes time. Shooting 100 spares a week is frustrating. Let me tell you. It's not. As bowlers, we love throwing strikes. We don't like picking up spares. We love strikes. But if you can do it, I guarantee you, it will. You'll beat everybody, especially at the amateur level, collegiate level, junior gold, youth. A lot of times making cuts, cashing is spares. It's just making your spares and being close. So if you're at a probably 150, 160 average, this will propel you to 180, 190 and get you to 200 spares. I have a saying, strikes are for show, spares are for dough. If you want more content like this and you want to be obsessed with picking up your spares, then check out the free community that's linked in the description. It's entirely free to join. There's some like-minded bowling individuals who love to help people on, particularly me, on picking up their spares, bowling in general, and there's lots of good content there. So I definitely recommend checking that out. Thank you for watching.